Ever felt your emotions were holding you back? Think again. The audiobook, The Power of Emotions, The Secret to Superior Critical Thinking, reveals how your feelings can supercharge your critical thinking. Discover the secret to making better decisions, solving complex problems, and maximizing personal growth. Learn to harness your emotional intelligence and integrate it with analytical skills. Don't let outdated beliefs about emotions limit your potential. Unlock your mind's full power and transform your life. Before we go on, I invite you to download the free bundle, which contains the ebook version of this book and an executive summary of all the chapters with the key takeaways. Studies show that engaging with content through multiple formats significantly enhances learning and retention. Click on the first link in the description to claim your free bundle now and maximize your learning potential. Now it's free, but it won't be for long, so make sure to grab it while you can. Chapter 1: Unlocking Emotions. For centuries, we've been taught that emotions are the enemy of reason. The ideal thinker, we're told, is cool, calm, and collected, a paragon of logic untainted by the messy world of feelings. But what if this fundamental assumption is not just wrong, but actively holding us back from reaching our full potential as thinkers and decision makers? The truth is, emotions are not obstacles to be overcome on the path to clear thinking. They are powerful allies, offering insights and driving forces that can elevate our cognitive abilities to new heights. This book is about unlocking that potential, about harnessing the power of emotions to achieve superior critical thinking. As you embark on this journey, you'll discover a new way of approaching both your inner emotional landscape and the complex problems of the world around you. You'll learn to recognize the subtle interplay between your feelings and your thoughts, and how to leverage that connection for sharper analysis and more effective decision-making. From the very first time you engage with the concepts in this book, you'll begin to see changes. You'll start to recognize the connection between your emotions and your thinking processes in ways you may never have noticed before. This awareness alone is transformative, opening your eyes to the constant emotional currents that influence your perceptions and judgments. But awareness is just the beginning. As you progress through the chapters, you'll develop the skills to not just recognize your emotions, but to truly understand them. You'll learn to differentiate between fleeting feelings and deeper emotional patterns, and to trace the roots of your emotional responses. This self-knowledge is the foundation upon which all further growth is built. Over time, as you continue to practice and integrate these concepts, the benefits will compound. Your analytical abilities will sharpen as you learn to incorporate emotional insights into your reasoning. You'll find yourself making decisions with greater confidence and clarity, drawing on both logical analysis and emotional intelligence. Perhaps most importantly, you'll experience profound personal growth. The journey of emotional integration is one of self-discovery. As you become more attuned to your emotions and their impact on your thinking, you'll gain a deeper understanding of yourself, your motivations, your fears, your strengths, and your potential for growth. To achieve these transformative outcomes, several key steps are involved. The first and most crucial is embracing emotional awareness. This means letting go of the notion that emotions are something to be suppressed or ignored in the pursuit of clear thinking. Instead, we must learn to welcome our emotions as valuable sources of information and energy. Next, we must challenge long-held misconceptions about the relationship between emotions and rationality. We'll explore how these two aspects of our mental lives are not opposing forces, but complementary faculties that work best in harmony. Finally, we'll set personal growth goals that encompass both emotional development and cognitive enhancement. This holistic approach recognizes that true growth comes from nurturing both our hearts and our minds. These steps are carefully ordered to build upon each other. We start with awareness, because without it, no further progress is possible. Only when we're truly tuned in to our emotional states can we begin to challenge our preconceptions about them. And it's from this new understanding that we can set meaningful goals for our ongoing development. At the intersection of emotion and thought, lies the concept of emotional intelligence. This is not just about being in touch with your feelings. It's about developing the ability to recognize, understand, and manage emotions in yourself and others. Emotional intelligence is the bridge that connects our feeling and thinking selves, allowing for a more integrated and powerful approach to problem solving and decision making. As we explore emotional intelligence, we'll also debunk common myths about emotions and rationality. We'll see how the idea of pure, emotionless logic is not only unrealistic, but potentially harmful. Our emotions provide context, motivation, and intuitive insights that are essential for truly effective thinking. The importance of emotions in critical thinking cannot be overstated. Every decision we make is influenced by our emotional state, whether we're aware of it or not. By learning to recognize and work with these influences rather than against them, we can make more balanced and effective choices. Emotions also play a crucial role in analysis. They help us determine what's important, guide our attention, and provide the motivation to dig deeper into complex problems. When we embrace our emotions as part of the analytical process, we tap into a wellspring of cognitive resources that can lead to more creative and comprehensive solutions. As we set the foundation for this emotional journey, it's important to prepare ourselves for personal growth. This means cultivating an open and curious mindset, ready to challenge long-held beliefs and explore new ways of thinking and feeling. It also involves setting clear goals for our emotional development, not vague aspirations, but concrete objectives that we can work towards and measure our progress against. Throughout this book, we'll delve deeper into each aspect of emotional integration and critical thinking. We'll explore practical techniques for enhancing our emotional awareness, strategies for leveraging emotions in decision-making, and methods for balancing emotional insights with logical analysis. You'll discover how to tap into the wisdom of your intuition while still maintaining a rigorous analytical approach. You'll learn to recognize and mitigate cognitive biases that can distort your thinking, and develop the empathy needed to consider multiple perspectives in any situation. Each chapter will build upon the last, providing you with a comprehensive toolkit for superior critical thinking. From the foundational skills of emotional awareness to advanced techniques in integrated thinking, you'll be equipped to tackle even the most complex challenges with confidence and clarity. As we conclude this first chapter, you stand at the threshold of a transformative journey. The path ahead will challenge you to rethink fundamental assumptions about how you think and feel. It will push you to grow not just intellectually, but emotionally as well. The rewards of this journey are immense. By unlocking the power of your emotions, you'll gain access to levels of insight and understanding that were previously beyond reach. You'll develop a more nuanced and effective approach to problem solving, one that draws on the full spectrum of your mental and emotional capabilities. But perhaps most intriguingly, this is just the beginning. As you turn the page to the next chapter, you'll start to uncover the hidden depths of your emotional landscape. You'll learn to navigate the subtle currents of feeling that flow beneath the surface of your conscious mind and harness their power to drive your thinking to new heights. What secrets lie waiting to be discovered in the uncharted territories of your emotional intelligence? What transformative insights will emerge as you learn to integrate your feelings with your thoughts? The answers to these questions lie just ahead, waiting for you to unlock them. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Grow to the Top and activate notifications to receive more self-improvement tips that will supercharge your growth. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2, Emotional Awareness. Have you ever found yourself making a decision that, in hindsight, seemed completely out of character? Or perhaps you've reacted to a situation in a way that left you wondering, where did that come from? These moments of disconnect between our actions and our understanding of ourselves are often rooted in a lack of emotional awareness. As we embark on this chapter, we'll explore the hidden landscape of our emotions and how they shape our thoughts and behaviors, in ways we might not even realize. Emotional awareness is more than just knowing when you're happy or sad. It's a nuanced understanding of the full spectrum of your emotional experiences and their profound impact on your cognitive processes. This awareness is the cornerstone of superior critical thinking, though its importance is often overlooked in traditional approaches to logic and reasoning. Why is emotional awareness so crucial for enhancing our critical thinking abilities? The answer lies in the intricate relationship between our emotions and our thought processes. Our emotions aren't just reactions to the world around us, they're active participants in how we perceive, interpret, and respond to information. By becoming more attuned to our emotional states, we gain valuable insights into the underlying factors that influence our reasoning. Consider a moment when you felt a strong gut reaction about a decision. That intuitive response wasn't random, it was your emotional intelligence at work, drawing on a wealth of past experiences and subconscious knowledge. By developing your emotional awareness, you can learn to tap into this rich source of information more effectively, enhancing your ability to reason and make decisions. Moreover, increased emotional awareness helps us identify and mitigate unconscious biases that can skew our thinking. We all have these biases, shaped by our experiences, culture, and personal history. They operate beneath the surface, subtly influencing our judgments and decisions. By becoming more aware of our emotional responses, we can start to recognize these biases in action and take steps to counteract them, leading to clearer, more objective thinking. But how do we begin to recognize and understand our emotional states? It starts with developing a more nuanced vocabulary for our feelings. Many of us operate with a limited emotional lexicon, defaulting to broad terms like good or bad, happy or sad. However, our emotional experiences are far more complex and varied than these simple labels suggest. Take a moment to reflect on your current emotional state. Can you describe it with precision? Are you content? Or is it more accurate to say you're feeling serene? Are you frustrated? Or perhaps, more specifically, are you feeling impatient or disappointed? By expanding our emotional vocabulary, we can start to capture the subtle variations in our feelings, leading to a more accurate understanding of our inner landscape. As we delve deeper into emotional awareness, we'll discover that our emotions aren't isolated experiences. They're part of a complex web of thoughts, physical sensations, and behaviors. An emotion doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's triggered by something, an event, a memory, or even another emotion. Understanding these triggers is key to gaining control over our emotional responses and, by extension, our thought processes. Consider the last time you felt angry. What preceded that anger? Was it a specific event, or perhaps a series of small frustrations that built up over time? By tracing the path of our emotions back to their sources, we can start to identify patterns in our emotional responses. This knowledge is powerful, allowing us to anticipate and prepare for emotional reactions before they occur. But our exploration doesn't stop at identifying triggers. We must also examine the impact our emotions have on our thoughts and actions. This is where the concept of the emotional cognitive feedback loop comes into play. Our emotions influence our thoughts, which in turn can intensify or alter our emotional state, creating a continuous cycle of interaction between our feelings and our cognition. Understanding this feedback loop is crucial for developing superior critical thinking skills. It allows us to recognize when our emotions are clouding our judgment, or conversely, when they're providing valuable intuitive insights. By becoming aware of this interplay, we can learn to harness the power of our emotions to enhance our reasoning rather than letting them lead us astray. So how do we cultivate this deeper level of emotional awareness? There are several powerful tools at our disposal. One of the most effective is the practice of self-reflection. This involves taking time regularly to examine our emotional states, their triggers, and their impacts on our thoughts and behaviors. It's not about judging our emotions as good or bad, but rather observing them with curiosity and openness. Another valuable tool is journaling. The act of writing about our emotional experiences can provide clarity and insight that might not be apparent in the moment. It allows us to track patterns over time, identify recurring triggers, and gain a more objective perspective on our emotional responses. As you journal, pay attention not just to what you felt, but why you felt it and how it influenced your thoughts and actions. To truly develop your emotional awareness, it's important to put these concepts into practice. One effective exercise is daily emotion tracking. Set aside time each day to check in with yourself and note your emotional state. Don't just label the emotion, explore its intensity, its physical manifestations, and any thoughts associated with it. Over time, you'll start to see patterns emerge, giving you a clearer picture of your emotional landscape. Another powerful practice is reflective meditation. This involves setting aside quiet time to focus inward, observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment. As you practice, you may notice emotions arising that you weren't consciously aware of before. This can be a profound way to uncover deeper layers of your emotional experience. Emotion labeling exercises can also be incredibly helpful. Challenge yourself to go beyond basic emotion words and find more precise terms to describe your feelings. This not only expands your emotional vocabulary, but also helps you differentiate between similar but distinct emotional states. As you engage in these practices, you'll likely start to see changes in your emotional awareness. At first, you might simply become better at recognizing your emotional states as they occur. This alone is a significant step forward, allowing you to respond to your emotions more consciously rather than reacting on autopilot. With continued practice, you may find yourself able to anticipate emotional reactions before they fully manifest. This predictive awareness is incredibly powerful, allowing you to prepare for challenging emotional situations and make more balanced decisions. The ultimate goal, however, is to achieve mastery in using emotional awareness to enhance your critical thinking. This doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring your emotions in favor of cold logic. Rather, it involves integrating your emotional insights seamlessly into your reasoning process, creating a more holistic and effective approach to problem-solving and decision-making. Of course, the journey to emotional awareness isn't always smooth. You may encounter challenges along the way. Some people find themselves overanalyzing their emotions, leading to increased anxiety rather than clarity. If you find yourself falling into this trap, it can be helpful to set boundaries on your reflection time. Remember, the goal is awareness, not obsession. Others might struggle with ignoring or suppressing uncomfortable emotions. This is a common defense mechanism, but it ultimately hinders our growth and understanding. The key is to practice acceptance and non-judgment. All emotions, even the difficult ones, have something to teach us if we're willing to listen. Consistency can also be a challenge. Like any skill, emotional awareness requires regular practice to develop. If you find yourself struggling to maintain a consistent practice, try establishing a regular routine. Set aside specific times each day for self-reflection or journaling, and treat these appointments with yourself as non-negotiable. As we conclude this chapter, you've taken the first steps on a journey of emotional discovery. You've begun to explore the subtle nuances of your emotional landscape and how they shape your thoughts and actions. But this is just the beginning. As you continue to develop your emotional awareness, you'll uncover deeper layers of understanding, not just about yourself, but about the world around you. In the next chapter, we'll delve into a realm that might seem at odds with the emotional awareness we've been cultivating. We'll explore a practice that at first glance appears to be about detachment and distance. But as you'll soon discover, this apparent contradiction holds the key to unlocking even greater depths of emotional intelligence and critical thinking prowess. Are you ready to challenge your preconceptions and explore a seemingly paradoxical path to enhanced awareness? Chapter 3: Mindful Reflection. As we embark on this chapter, you might be wondering what mindful reflection has to do with critical thinking and emotional intelligence. At first glance, it may seem like an odd detour from our exploration of emotions and cognition. But as we delve deeper, you'll discover that this practice holds the key to unlocking a new level of awareness and control over your thoughts and feelings. Mindful reflection is more than just a trendy buzzword or a relaxation technique. It's a powerful tool that can fundamentally change how you interact with your own mind. But what exactly does it mean to be mindful? And how can this practice enhance our critical thinking abilities? At its core, mindful reflection is about developing a particular kind of attention. It's a way of observing your thoughts and emotions with a sense of curiosity and detachment rather than getting caught up in them. This might sound simple, but it's a skill that requires practice and patience to develop. The importance of this skill for superior critical thinking cannot be overstated. When we're able to step back and observe our thoughts and emotions objectively, we gain a new perspective on our mental processes. This enhanced objectivity allows us to analyze situations more clearly without the distortion of unchecked emotional reactions or ingrained thought patterns. Moreover, mindful reflection helps us reduce impulsive reactions. How often have you said or done something in the heat of the moment only to regret it later? By cultivating mindfulness, we create a space between stimulus and response. This pause gives us the opportunity to choose our reactions more consciously, leading to better decisions and more effective problem solving. But how do we actually practice mindfulness? The principles of mindful awareness are deceptively simple. The core idea is to focus your attention on the present moment, observing your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. This means noticing what's happening in your mind and body right now, rather than getting lost in thoughts about the past or future. One of the key benefits of this practice is that it trains us to live more fully in the present. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to spend most of our time either ruminating on the past or worrying about the future. But by anchoring our attention in the present moment, we become more attuned to the reality of our current situation. This present-focused awareness is crucial for clear thinking and effective decision-making. As we develop our mindfulness practice, we begin to observe the intricate connection between our minds and our emotions. This observation reveals patterns and connections that we might never have noticed before. For example, you might realize that certain thoughts consistently trigger specific emotional responses, or that particular emotions tend to lead to certain types of thoughts. There are various techniques we can use to enhance this self-observation. One powerful approach is to practice noting or labeling our thoughts and emotions as they arise. This might involve simply saying to yourself, "thinking," when you notice a thought, or naming the specific emotion you're experiencing. This simple act of labeling helps create a bit of distance between you and your mental experiences, allowing you to observe them more objectively. As you continue this practice, you'll start to recognize recurring thought patterns. You might notice that you tend to catastrophize when faced with uncertainty, or that you often engage in self-critical internal dialogue. Recognizing these patterns is the first step towards changing them, leading to more balanced and effective thinking. Applying mindfulness to our thinking processes can have profound effects on our ability to focus and think clearly. By training our attention through mindfulness practices, we enhance our ability to concentrate on the task at hand. This improved focus allows us to delve deeper into complex problems and maintain our train of thought even in challenging situations. Moreover, mindfulness helps reduce emotional reactivity, which can often cloud our judgment. When we're caught up in strong emotions, it's difficult to think clearly or objectively. But by cultivating a mindful approach, we can observe our emotional responses without being overwhelmed by them. This doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring our emotions, but rather acknowledging them while maintaining a sense of equanimity. To truly benefit from mindful reflection, it's essential to put these concepts into practice. One of the most fundamental techniques is mindful breathing. This involves focusing your attention on the sensation of your breath moving in and out of your body. Whenever you notice your mind wandering, which it inevitably will, you simply bring your attention back to your breath. This simple practice trains your ability to focus and helps you become more aware of your thought processes. Another powerful exercise is mindful observation. This involves choosing an object in your environment and observing it closely for a few minutes. Notice its colors, textures, and any other details you can perceive. This practice helps sharpen your observational skills and trains you to pay attention to the present moment. As you engage in these practices, you'll likely start to notice changes in your thinking and emotional responses. At first, you might simply experience improved concentration and a greater awareness of your thoughts and feelings. This alone can be transformative, allowing you to catch unhelpful thought patterns or emotional reactions before they spiral out of control. With continued practice, you may find that you're better able to remain calm under pressure. Stressful situations that might have previously triggered an immediate emotional reaction become opportunities to pause and respond thoughtfully. This enhanced emotional regulation can lead to better decision-making and more effective problem-solving, especially in high-pressure situations. The ultimate goal, however, is to integrate mindfulness so deeply into your thinking processes that it becomes second nature. When this happens, you'll find yourself consistently applying a mindful approach to your critical thinking. This means maintaining a clear, focused mind even when dealing with complex problems, and being able to consider multiple perspectives without getting caught up in emotional reactions or preconceived notions. Of course, developing a mindfulness practice isn't always easy. One common challenge is difficulty staying focused. If you find your mind constantly wandering during mindfulness exercises, don't worry, this is completely normal. The key is to start with shorter sessions and gradually build up your capacity for sustained attention. Even a few minutes of mindful reflection each day can make a significant difference over time. Another potential pitfall is frustration with slow progress. In our results-oriented culture, it's easy to become impatient when we don't see immediate changes. If you find yourself feeling frustrated, try practicing self-compassion. Remember that mindfulness is a skill that develops over time, and every moment of practice is valuable, regardless of how it feels in the moment. Some people also struggle with misinterpretations of what mindfulness is supposed to be. They might think it's about emptying the mind of all thoughts or achieving a state of constant bliss. In reality, mindfulness is simply about being aware of whatever is happening in the present moment, whether that's pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. If you find yourself confused about the practice, don't hesitate to seek guidance from experienced practitioners or reputable resources. As we conclude this chapter, you've been introduced to the powerful practice of mindful reflection. You've learned how this seemingly simple technique can profoundly impact your ability to think critically and manage your emotions effectively. But this is just the beginning of our journey into the realm of superior critical thinking. In the next chapter, we'll explore a phenomenon that often lurks beneath the surface of our conscious awareness, subtly influencing our thoughts and decisions in ways we might not even realize. As we uncover these hidden forces, you'll gain new insights into the workings of your own mind and discover tools to navigate the complex landscape of human cognition. Are you ready to pull back the curtain and confront the unseen factors shaping your thoughts and judgments? Chapter 4: Cognitive Biases. Have you ever wondered why two people can look at the same situation and come to completely different conclusions? Or why you sometimes make decisions that, in hindsight, seem puzzling or even irrational? The answer lies in a fascinating aspect of human cognition that shapes our perceptions, judgments, and decisions in ways we often don't realize. As we delve into this chapter, we'll uncover hidden forces that subtly influence our thinking. These forces operate beneath the surface of our conscious awareness, coloring our interpretations of the world and steering our decisions in ways that can sometimes lead us astray. But what exactly are these hidden influences, and how do they relate to our emotions and critical thinking abilities? The importance of understanding these hidden forces for superior critical thinking cannot be overstated. They affect every aspect of our decision-making process, from how we perceive information to how we draw conclusions. By learning to recognize and overcome these influences, we can significantly enhance our ability to think objectively and make more rational decisions. Moreover, understanding these hidden forces allows us to see the world more clearly, free from the distortions that often cloud our judgment. It's like putting on a pair of glasses that suddenly brings everything into sharper focus. This clarity is essential for anyone seeking to improve their critical thinking skills and make better decisions in both personal and professional contexts. But what exactly are these hidden forces we're talking about? They go by many names, but in the field of psychology and cognitive science, they're often referred to as cognitive biases. These biases are systematic patterns of deviation from norm or rationality in judgment. In simpler terms, they're mental shortcuts or tendencies that can lead to inaccurate or irrational thinking. Cognitive biases come in many forms. There's the confirmation bias, which leads us to seek out information that confirms our existing beliefs while ignoring contradictory evidence. The availability heuristic causes us to overestimate the likelihood of events with greater availability in memory, which often translates to emphasizing recent or emotionally charged memories. The anchoring bias makes us rely too heavily on the first piece of information we receive when making decisions. These are just a few of the many cognitive biases that can influence our reasoning. But where do these biases come from, and why do we have them? The answer lies in part in our emotions. Emotions play a crucial role in the formation and perpetuation of cognitive biases. Our emotional states can significantly influence how we perceive and interpret information. When we're in a positive mood, for instance, we might be more likely to overlook potential risks or problems. Conversely, when we're anxious or fearful, we might overestimate threats and underestimate our ability to cope with challenges. Understanding the link between emotions and cognitive biases is crucial for developing superior critical thinking skills. Our emotions aren't just passive experiences, they actively shape our thought processes and decision-making. By becoming more aware of our emotional states and how they influence our thinking, we can start to identify and mitigate the biases that stem from these emotional influences. But how do we go about identifying our personal biases? After all, these biases operate largely outside of our conscious awareness. One effective approach is to engage in regular self-assessment exercises. This might involve reflecting on past decisions and trying to identify patterns in your thinking. Were there times when you jumped to conclusions without considering all the evidence? Or instances where you dismissed information that didn't align with your pre-existing beliefs? Another powerful technique for identifying personal biases is to actively challenge your own assumptions. This involves questioning the beliefs and ideas you hold most dear. Why do you believe what you believe? What evidence supports your views, and what evidence might contradict them? By regularly engaging in this kind of self-questioning, you can start to uncover the biases that might be influencing your thinking. Once we've identified our biases, the next step is learning how to overcome them. This is where critical questioning techniques come into play. By developing a habit of asking probing questions about our own thoughts and decisions, we can start to counteract the influence of cognitive biases. Questions like, what evidence do I have for this belief? Or, what alternative explanations might there be, can help us break free from biased thinking patterns. Another powerful strategy for overcoming biases is to actively seek out diverse perspectives. Our biases often stem from a limited worldview, so exposing ourselves to different ideas and viewpoints can help broaden our perspective and reduce the influence of personal biases. This might involve reading books or articles that challenge your existing beliefs, or engaging in discussions with people who have different backgrounds and experiences from your own. To truly internalize these concepts and develop your ability to identify and overcome cognitive biases, it's essential to engage in practical exercises. One effective exercise is to practice identifying biases in everyday situations. As you go about your day, try to catch yourself when you're making assumptions or jumping to conclusions. Ask yourself what biases might be at play in those moments. Another useful exercise is to practice debiasing techniques. This might involve deliberately seeking out information that contradicts your initial assumptions about a situation. Or it could mean trying to view a problem from multiple different perspectives before making a decision. Exposing yourself to alternative viewpoints is also a crucial practice. This doesn't mean you have to agree with every opposing view you encounter, but simply being open to considering different perspectives can help reduce the influence of personal biases. As you engage in these practices, you'll likely start to notice changes in your thinking patterns. At first, you might simply become more aware of your personal biases. This awareness alone is a significant step forward, as it allows you to catch yourself when you're falling into biased thinking patterns. With continued practice, you may find that you're able to actively mitigate the influence of biases in your reasoning. This might manifest as a greater ability to consider multiple perspectives when making decisions, or a tendency to seek out more diverse sources of information before drawing conclusions. The ultimate goal, however, is to develop the ability to engage in consistent, objective analysis that's largely free from the influence of cognitive biases. This doesn't mean completely eliminating biases. That's likely impossible, given how deeply ingrained they are in human cognition. Rather, it means developing such a high level of awareness and such effective debiasing strategies that you're able to minimize the impact of biases on your critical thinking. Of course, the journey to overcoming cognitive biases isn't always smooth. One common challenge is resistance to acknowledging our own biases. It can be uncomfortable to confront the idea that our thinking might be flawed or irrational. If you find yourself struggling with this, try to foster an attitude of openness and curiosity. View the discovery of your biases not as a failing, but as an opportunity for growth and improvement. Another potential pitfall is overconfidence in our ability to overcome biases. Just because we're aware of cognitive biases doesn't mean we're immune to them. In fact, the belief that we're unbiased can itself be a form of bias. To avoid this trap, it's important to engage in continual self-evaluation. Regularly question your own thinking and decision-making processes, and be open to the possibility that biases might still be influencing you in subtle ways. Finally, some people find it difficult to change ingrained thought patterns, even when they're aware of their biases. If you're struggling with this, remember that changing cognitive habits takes time and persistent practice. Be patient with yourself and focus on making small, consistent improvements rather than trying to transform your thinking overnight. As we conclude this chapter, you've gained insight into the hidden forces that shape our thinking, the cognitive biases that can lead us astray if we're not careful. You've learned strategies for identifying and overcoming these biases, and you've been equipped with practical exercises to help you develop more objective and rational thinking patterns. But our journey into the depths of human cognition and emotion is far from over. In the next chapter, we'll explore a quality that might seem at odds with the objective, bias-free thinking we've been discussing. This quality has the power to dramatically enhance our understanding of complex situations and improve our decision-making in ways you might not expect. Are you ready to discover how embracing this seemingly subjective trait can actually lead to more comprehensive and effective critical thinking? Chapter 5, Empathetic Understanding. As we embark on this chapter, you might be wondering what role emotions play in critical thinking beyond our own internal experiences. We've explored how our personal emotions influence our thoughts and decisions, but there's another dimension to emotional intelligence that can dramatically enhance our ability to think critically and solve problems effectively. This dimension involves reaching beyond ourselves and connecting with the experiences and perspectives of others. But how exactly does understanding others' emotions contribute to superior critical thinking? At first glance, it might seem that empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, is at odds with the objective, analytical approach we often associate with critical thinking. However, as we'll discover, empathy is not just compatible with critical thinking, it's an essential component of truly comprehensive analysis and problem solving. The importance of this skill for superior critical thinking cannot be overstated. When we broaden our perspective by understanding others, we gain access to a wealth of information and insights that we might otherwise miss. This expanded view allows us to see problems from multiple angles, consider diverse solutions, and anticipate potential outcomes more accurately. Moreover, by incorporating diverse views into our problem-solving process, we enhance our ability to generate innovative solutions. Different perspectives can highlight aspects of a problem that we might have overlooked or suggest approaches that we wouldn't have considered based on our own experiences alone. But what exactly do we mean when we talk about empathy? It's a term that's often used, but frequently misunderstood. At its core, empathy is about understanding and sharing the feelings of another person. It's not just about being nice or sympathetic. It's about truly grasping another person's emotional experience and perspective. It's important to differentiate empathy from sympathy. While sympathy involves feeling concern for another person's hardships, empathy goes a step further. It involves actually experiencing or imagining the other person's emotions. This distinction is crucial because empathy allows for a deeper level of understanding that can inform our critical thinking in ways that mere sympathy cannot. Interestingly, empathy isn't just a psychological concept. It has a neurological basis as well. Research in neuroscience has identified specific neural networks in the brain that are activated when we empathize with others. These mirror neurons fire both when we perform an action and when we watch someone else performing a similar action, suggesting a neurological basis for our ability to understand and share others' experiences. But how do we cultivate empathy? One of the most powerful tools for developing empathy is active listening. This involves fully focusing on what is being said rather than just passively listening to the message. It means listening with all senses, giving full attention to the speaker, and providing feedback to ensure understanding. Another effective technique for cultivating empathy is engaging in perspective-taking exercises. This involves deliberately trying to see situations from other people's points of view. It might mean imagining how a colleague feels about a challenging project, or considering how a decision might impact different stakeholders in an organization. As we develop our capacity for empathy, we can begin to apply it more directly to our critical thinking processes. Empathy enhances problem solving by allowing us to consider a wider range of factors and potential solutions. When we can truly understand the perspectives and needs of all parties involved in a situation, we're better equipped to develop solutions that address the root of the problem and satisfy multiple stakeholders. Furthermore, empathy is crucial for building collaborative relationships. In today's interconnected world, few significant problems can be solved in isolation. By developing our empathetic understanding, we improve our ability to work effectively with others, navigate conflicts, and build the kind of trust and rapport that facilitates productive collaboration. To truly internalize these concepts and develop your empathetic understanding, it's essential to engage in practical exercises. One powerful technique is empathy mapping. This involves creating a visual representation of a person or group's experience, including what they think, feel, say, and do in a given situation. By mapping out these elements, we can gain a more comprehensive understanding of others' perspectives and motivations. Role-playing scenarios can also be incredibly effective for developing empathy. By putting yourself in someone else's shoes and acting out their role in a situation, you can gain insights into their experiences and emotions that might not be apparent from the outside. Reflective dialogues are another valuable tool for cultivating empathy. These involve engaging in conversations where the focus is on understanding the other person's perspective rather than arguing or persuading. The key is to listen deeply, ask thoughtful questions, and reflect back what you've heard to ensure understanding. As you engage in these practices, you'll likely start to notice changes in your ability to understand and connect with others. At first, you might simply become more aware of the emotions and perspectives of those around you. This increased awareness alone can significantly enhance your ability to analyze situations and make decisions that consider the needs and viewpoints of all involved. With continued practice, you may find that you're able to more easily collaborate with others and solve problems in group settings. Your enhanced empathetic understanding will allow you to navigate conflicts more smoothly, build stronger relationships, and develop solutions that address the needs of diverse stakeholders. The ultimate goal, however, is to achieve mastery in integrating empathy into your critical analysis. This doesn't mean abandoning objectivity or logic. Rather, it means enriching your analytical processes with the deep insights that come from truly understanding others' perspectives. When you can seamlessly blend empathetic understanding with rigorous analysis, you'll be equipped to tackle even the most complex problems with creativity and effectiveness. Of course, the journey to developing empathetic understanding isn't always smooth. One common challenge is emotional burnout. When we open ourselves up to understanding others' emotions, it can sometimes be overwhelming, especially when dealing with difficult or painful situations. If you find yourself experiencing burnout, it's important to set emotional boundaries. Remember that empathy doesn't mean taking on others' emotions as your own. It's about understanding them while maintaining your own emotional well-being. Another potential pitfall is misinterpreting others' emotions. Even with the best intentions, it's possible to misread someone's emotional state or misunderstand their perspective. If you find yourself unsure about someone's feelings or motivations, don't hesitate to seek clarification. Asking respectful, open-ended questions can help ensure that your empathetic understanding is accurate. Some people also struggle with difficulty relating to others, especially those who seem very different from themselves. If you find this challenging, focus on practicing active listening. By truly hearing what others are saying and making an effort to understand their experiences, you can often find points of connection, even with those who seem most different from you. As we conclude this chapter, you've gained insight into the power of empathetic understanding and its crucial role in enhancing critical thinking. You've learned strategies for cultivating empathy and applying it to problem solving and collaboration. You've been equipped with practical exercises to help you develop your empathetic skills and integrate them into your analytical processes. But our exploration of the interplay between emotions and critical thinking is far from complete. In the next chapter, we'll delve into a skill that might seem at odds with the empathetic understanding we've been discussing. This skill is often associated with cold logic and detachment, but as you'll discover, it can actually work in harmony with empathy to create a powerful toolkit for superior critical thinking. Are you ready to explore how this seemingly contradictory ability can complement and enhance your newfound empathetic understanding? Chapter 6: Emotional Regulation. As we venture into this chapter, you might be wondering about the delicate balance between embracing our emotions and maintaining clear, rational thought. We've explored the power of emotional awareness and empathy, but what happens when our emotions threaten to overwhelm us? How can we harness the insights our feelings provide without letting them cloud our judgment or derail our decision-making process? The skill we're about to explore is often misunderstood. Some view it as a way to suppress or ignore emotions, but nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, this ability is all about acknowledging and working with our emotions in a way that enhances rather than hinders our critical thinking. But what exactly is this skill, and how does it contribute to superior critical thinking? At its core, it's about developing a harmonious relationship with our emotional selves, one that allows us to navigate even the most turbulent emotional waters without losing our analytical bearings. The importance of this skill for superior critical thinking cannot be overstated. When we're able to manage our emotions effectively, we prevent them from overwhelming our reasoning processes. This is crucial in high-stakes situations where clear thinking is paramount. Imagine trying to make a critical decision while in the grip of intense anger or fear. It's easy to see how our judgment might be compromised. Moreover, when we learn to regulate our emotions, we open up the possibility of utilizing them constructively. Emotions, when properly managed, can be powerful motivators and sources of insight. They can fuel our passion for solving problems, enhance our creativity, and provide intuitive understanding that complements our logical analysis. But why do we need to regulate our emotions in the first place? To understand this, we need to delve into the nature of emotional triggers and the consequences of unregulated emotions. Emotional triggers are events, memories, or situations that provoke a strong emotional reaction in us. These triggers can be highly personal and often stem from past experiences. When we encounter a trigger, our emotional response can be immediate and intense, potentially overwhelming our ability to think clearly. The consequences of unregulated emotions can be significant. In the context of critical thinking and decision-making, uncontrolled emotions can lead to impulsive actions, clouded judgment, and missed opportunities. They can strain relationships, impair our ability to communicate effectively, and even impact our physical health. So how do we go about managing our emotions effectively? One powerful technique is cognitive reframing. This involves changing the way we perceive a situation to alter our emotional response to it. For example, instead of viewing a challenge as a threat, we might reframe it as an opportunity for growth. This shift in perspective can dramatically change our emotional reaction and, consequently, our approach to problem solving. Another crucial set of tools for emotional regulation are stress reduction strategies. These can include practices like deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or mindfulness meditation. By reducing our overall stress levels, we become better equipped to handle emotional challenges when they arise. As we develop our ability to regulate our emotions, we can begin to leverage them as powerful tools for enhancing our critical thinking. One way to do this is by harnessing emotions for motivation. Emotions like enthusiasm and determination can drive us to tackle complex problems with energy and persistence. By learning to cultivate and channel these emotions, we can enhance our problem-solving capabilities. Another key aspect of leveraging regulated emotions is finding the right balance between emotion and logic. This doesn't mean suppressing our emotions in favor of cold rationality. Rather, it involves integrating emotional insights with logical analysis to arrive at more comprehensive and nuanced understanding. To truly internalize these concepts and develop your emotional regulation skills, it's essential to engage in practical exercises. One effective approach is to practice specific emotion regulation strategies in your daily life. This might involve using cognitive reframing techniques when you encounter challenging situations, or implementing stress management practices as part of your regular routine. Cognitive restructuring exercises can also be incredibly helpful. These involve identifying and challenging negative thought patterns that contribute to unhelpful emotional responses. By restructuring these thoughts, we can change our emotional reactions and improve our ability to think clearly in challenging situations. As you engage in these practices, you'll likely start to notice changes in your ability to manage your emotions. At first, you might simply experience improved emotional control. You may find that you're less likely to be overwhelmed by intense emotions and better able to maintain your composure in stressful situations. With continued practice, you may discover that you're able to use your emotions to enhance your reasoning processes. This might manifest as an increased ability to draw on emotional insights to inform your decision-making, or a heightened sensitivity to the emotional aspects of complex problems. The ultimate goal, however, is to achieve mastery in balancing emotion and logic for optimal decision-making. This doesn't mean achieving a state of perfect emotional control. Such a thing likely doesn't exist. Rather, it means developing such a nuanced understanding of your emotional landscape that you can seamlessly integrate emotional insights with logical analysis, resulting in superior critical thinking and decision-making. Of course, the journey to developing effective emotional regulation isn't always smooth. One common pitfall is the tendency to suppress emotions rather than regulate them. If you find yourself trying to ignore or push away your feelings, remember that the goal is not to eliminate emotions, but to work with them constructively. Practice acknowledging your feelings without judgment and then deciding how to respond to them in a way that aligns with your goals and values. Another potential challenge is over-reliance on logic at the expense of emotional insight. While logical analysis is crucial for critical thinking, ignoring the valuable information that our emotions provide can lead to incomplete understanding and suboptimal decisions. If you find yourself dismissing emotional considerations, try consciously integrating emotional insights into your analytical process. Some people also struggle with difficulty identifying their emotional triggers. If this resonates with you, consider keeping an emotion diary. By regularly recording your emotional experiences and the situations that provoke them, you can start to identify patterns and gain a clearer understanding of your emotional triggers. As we conclude this chapter, you've gained insight into the power of emotional regulation and its crucial role in enhancing critical thinking. You've learned strategies for managing your emotions effectively and leveraging them to enhance your reasoning processes. You've been equipped with practical exercises to help you develop your emotional regulation skills and integrate them into your critical thinking toolkit. But our exploration of the interplay between emotions and critical thinking is not yet complete. In the next chapter, we'll delve into a facet of emotional intelligence that might seem almost mystical at first glance. This aspect of our emotional lives often operates beneath the surface of our conscious awareness, yet it can provide powerful insights that enhance our decision-making in ways that logic alone cannot match. Are you ready to explore this hidden wellspring of knowledge and discover how it can elevate your critical thinking to new heights? Chapter 7: Intuitive Insight. As we embark on this chapter, you might find yourself wondering about a curious phenomenon that we've all experienced at one time or another. It's that moment when you just know something without quite knowing how you know it. That flash of understanding that seems to come from nowhere, yet feels undeniably right. What is this mysterious force, and how does it relate to the critical thinking skills we've been developing? We're about to explore a facet of our mental processes that has long been the subject of fascination and debate. Some dismiss it as mere guesswork or coincidence, while others swear by its power to guide them through complex decisions. But what if this enigmatic ability is neither mystical nor random, but a sophisticated aspect of our emotional intelligence that can be harnessed to enhance our critical thinking? The importance of this ability for superior critical thinking might not be immediately obvious. After all, we've spent much of this book discussing the value of careful analysis and logical reasoning. How can something as seemingly nebulous as a gut feeling contribute to rigorous critical thinking? The answer lies in the vast reservoir of knowledge that exists beneath the surface of our conscious awareness. Our brains are constantly processing information, much of it outside our conscious perception. This subconscious processing can lead to insights and understanding that our conscious minds haven't yet pieced together. By learning to tap into this wellspring of subconscious knowledge, we can access a wealth of information that can inform and enhance our critical thinking processes. Moreover, this ability can significantly enhance the speed and effectiveness of our decision-making. In situations where time is of the essence, or where we're faced with incomplete information, this rapid form of information processing can provide valuable guidance. But what exactly are we talking about? The phenomenon we're exploring goes by many names, but it's most commonly referred to as intuition. Intuition can be defined as the process of understanding something immediately without the need for conscious thinking. It's that aha moment, that sudden clarity that seems to arise from nowhere. It's important to distinguish intuition from instinct. While both operate below the level of conscious thought, instincts are innate, hardwired responses to stimuli. Intuition, on the other hand, is based on our accumulated experiences and knowledge. It's a form of rapid cognition, drawing on patterns and information we've absorbed over time. So, how does intuition factor into decision-making? When should we trust our gut, and when should we rely on more analytical approaches? The key lies in understanding that intuition and analysis are not mutually exclusive. In fact, the most effective decision-making often involves a balance of both. There are certainly times when trusting your intuition can be beneficial. In situations where you have extensive experience, your intuition can quickly process complex information and provide insights that might take much longer to reach through step-by-step analysis. Intuition can also be valuable in situations where you're dealing with incomplete information or need to make a quick decision. However, it's crucial to integrate intuition with analytical thinking. Your intuition might point you in a certain direction, but it's important to then engage your critical thinking skills to evaluate and validate that intuitive insight. This combination of intuitive and analytical thinking can lead to more robust and confident decision-making. Developing your intuitive skills is a process that requires practice and self-awareness. One technique for enhancing intuition is to pay more attention to your initial reactions and impressions. Often, our intuition speaks to us in the first moments of encountering a situation before our analytical mind kicks in. By tuning into these initial impressions, you can start to recognize and trust your intuitive signals. Another important aspect of developing intuition is learning to recognize intuitive signals. These can manifest in various ways: as a physical sensation, the classic gut feeling, an emotion, or a sudden mental image or idea. The key is to become more aware of these signals and to reflect on their meaning and accuracy over time. To truly develop your intuitive skills, it's essential to engage in practical exercises. One effective approach is to practice intuition-strengthening activities in your daily life. This might involve setting aside time each day to quiet your mind and tune into your intuitive impressions about a particular question or situation. Reflective journaling can also be a powerful tool for developing intuition. By regularly recording your intuitive impressions and then tracking how they align with actual outcomes, you can start to refine your ability to distinguish genuine intuitive insights from mere guesses or wishful thinking. As you engage in these practices, you'll likely start to notice changes in your relationship with your intuition. At first, you might simply become more aware of intuitive feelings as they arise. You may find yourself pausing to acknowledge these impressions, even if you're not yet sure how to interpret or act on them. With continued practice, you may discover that you're able to effectively combine intuitive insights with logical analysis. This might manifest as an increased ability to use your intuition as a starting point for more in-depth investigation, or a heightened sense of when to trust your gut and when to dig deeper. The ultimate goal is to achieve a state where you can make confident and swift decisions by seamlessly integrating intuitive insights with critical analysis. This doesn't mean blindly following every hunch, but rather developing such a refined intuitive sense that it becomes a reliable tool in your critical thinking toolkit. Of course, the journey to developing effective use of intuition isn't without its challenges. One common pitfall is misinterpreting emotions or biases as intuition. If you find yourself consistently acting on intuitive feelings that turn out to be inaccurate, it may be helpful to engage in more rigorous analysis to verify your intuitive impressions before acting on them. On the other hand, some people struggle with ignoring their intuition entirely, perhaps out of a belief that it's not rational or reliable. If you find yourself dismissing intuitive insights without consideration, try practicing trust in your instincts. Start with low-stakes situations where you can follow your intuition and then reflect on the outcomes. Another potential challenge is over-reliance on intuition at the expense of analytical thinking. While intuition can be a powerful tool, it's not infallible. If you find yourself making important decisions based solely on gut feelings, try consciously balancing your intuitive impressions with rational analysis. As we conclude this chapter, you've gained insight into the power of intuitive insight and its crucial role in enhancing critical thinking. You've learned strategies for developing your intuitive skills and integrating them with analytical thinking. You've been equipped with practical exercises to help you cultivate your intuition and incorporate it into your decision-making processes. But our exploration of the interplay between emotions and critical thinking is not yet complete. In the next chapter, we'll delve into a concept that brings together all the skills and insights we've explored so far. This approach to thinking promises to revolutionize the way you approach problems and make decisions. It's a synthesis of emotional intelligence and analytical prowess that can elevate your critical thinking to unprecedented levels. Are you ready to discover the ultimate fusion of heart and mind that can transform your cognitive abilities and decision-making power? Chapter 8: Integrated Thinking. As we embark on this final chapter, you might be wondering how all the pieces we've explored so far fit together. We've delved into emotional awareness, empathy, regulation, and intuition. We've honed our analytical skills and learned to recognize cognitive biases. But how do we bring all of these elements together in a cohesive, powerful approach to thinking and problem solving? The answer lies in a concept that might seem paradoxical at first glance. It's an approach that doesn't just balance emotion and reason, but weaves them together into a seamless whole. This method of thinking promises to unlock levels of cognitive performance you may have never thought possible. But what exactly is this mysterious approach, and how can it elevate your critical thinking to new heights? The importance of this approach for superior critical thinking cannot be overstated. By integrating all aspects of our mental faculties, we can maximize our cognitive resources in ways that far surpass what we can achieve through logic or emotion alone. This holistic method allows us to tap into the full spectrum of our intellectual and emotional capabilities, leading to more comprehensive and nuanced understanding of complex issues. Moreover, this integrated approach enhances our adaptability and innovation. In a world of rapid change and increasing complexity, the ability to flexibly apply both emotional intelligence and analytical rigor is invaluable. It allows us to navigate uncertainty with greater confidence and generate creative solutions to unprecedented challenges. But what does it mean to truly merge emotion and reason? For centuries, these two aspects of human cognition have often been viewed as separate, even antagonistic forces. Logic was seen as the realm of clear, objective thought, while emotions were often dismissed as irrational impulses that clouded judgment. However, modern research in psychology and neuroscience has revealed a far more complex and intertwined relationship between emotion and reason. In reality, emotions and logic operate in a constant feedback loop, each informing and influencing the other. Our emotions provide crucial context and motivation for our logical processes, while our rational mind helps us interpret and respond to our emotional experiences. When we learn to harness this synergy, rather than trying to suppress one in favor of the other, we unlock a powerful new mode of thinking. This synergistic relationship forms the basis for various models of integrated thinking. These models provide frameworks for understanding how emotion and reason can work together to enhance our cognitive abilities. They emphasize the importance of emotional awareness and regulation in conjunction with logical analysis, creating a more holistic approach to problem-solving and decision-making. But how do we apply this integrated thinking in practical situations? One approach is to use decision-making frameworks that explicitly incorporate both emotional and rational considerations. These frameworks might involve steps for identifying and acknowledging emotional responses, alongside stages for logical analysis. By systematically considering both aspects, we can arrive at more balanced and comprehensive decisions. Similarly, integrated problem-solving strategies encourage us to explore issues from multiple angles, considering both emotional and logical perspectives. This might involve techniques for empathizing with stakeholders affected by a problem, while also rigorously analyzing data and evidence. By combining these approaches, we can develop solutions that are not only logically sound, but also emotionally intelligent and socially aware. Cultivating a balanced mindset is crucial for successful integrated thinking. This involves developing a commitment to continuous learning and adaptation. As we encounter new situations and challenges, we must be willing to adjust our thinking processes, refining the balance between emotion and logic as needed. Overcoming challenges to integration is also an important part of this process. Many of us have ingrained habits of favoring either emotional or logical thinking, and breaking out of these patterns can be difficult. It requires conscious effort and practice to develop a truly integrated approach. To truly internalize these concepts and develop your integrated thinking skills, it's essential to engage in practical exercises. One effective approach is to work through integrated thinking scenarios. These might involve complex problems that require both emotional intelligence and analytical rigor to solve effectively. By practicing with these scenarios, you can learn to seamlessly blend emotional and logical considerations in your thinking process. Reflecting on past decisions using integrated approaches can also be incredibly illuminating. By revisiting previous choices and analyzing them from both emotional and logical perspectives, you can gain insights into how a more integrated approach might have led to different or better outcomes. Developing personalized integration techniques is another crucial step. Everyone's cognitive and emotional makeup is unique, so it's important to find methods of integration that work best for you. This might involve creating your own decision-making checklists that incorporate both emotional and logical factors, or developing personal rituals for balancing intuition with analysis. As you engage in these practices, you'll likely start to notice significant changes in your thinking and decision-making processes. At first, you might simply experience improved decision-making. You may find that your choices are more well-rounded, taking into account a broader range of factors and leading to better outcomes. With continued practice, you may discover that you're able to solve complex problems more effectively. The ability to seamlessly integrate emotional intelligence with analytical thinking allows you to navigate intricate, multifaceted issues with greater ease and insight. The ultimate goal, however, is to achieve mastery in integrated thinking, leading to profound personal and professional growth. This doesn't mean achieving perfection. The integration of emotion and logic is an ongoing process of refinement and adaptation. Rather, it means developing such a nuanced and flexible approach to thinking that you can confidently tackle any challenge, leveraging the full spectrum of your cognitive and emotional abilities. Of course, the journey to developing effective integrated thinking isn't without its challenges. One common difficulty is finding the right balance between emotion and logic. If you find yourself consistently favoring one over the other, try consciously practicing integration techniques. This might involve deliberately considering the emotional aspects of a logical problem or applying analytical rigor to an emotionally charged situation. Another potential obstacle is resistance to change. Our thinking habits are often deeply ingrained, and shifting to a more integrated approach can feel uncomfortable or challenging. If you find yourself resisting this change, try to embrace a growth mindset. Remember that the ability to integrate emotion and logic is a skill that can be developed and refined over time. Some people also struggle with overcomplicating the integration process. In an effort to consider every possible emotional and logical factor, they may find themselves paralyzed by complexity. If this resonates with you, try simplifying your approach. Start with basic integration techniques and gradually build up to more comprehensive methods as you become more comfortable with the process. As we conclude this chapter, you've gained insight into the power of integrated thinking and its crucial role in enhancing critical thinking. You've learned strategies for merging emotion and reason, and you've been equipped with practical exercises to help you develop your integrated thinking skills. But our journey doesn't end here. In the final chapter, we'll explore how to take all that you've learned and apply it to your future personal and professional endeavors. We'll discuss how these skills can continue to evolve and adapt as you face new challenges and opportunities. Are you ready to discover how the power of integrated thinking can transform not just your cognitive abilities, but your entire approach to life and work? The next chapter holds the key to unlocking your full potential and embarking on a lifelong journey of growth and discovery. Chapter 9, Journey Forward. As we reach the final chapter of our exploration into the power of emotions and critical thinking, you might be wondering how to take all you've learned and apply it to your life going forward. The journey we've been on together isn't just about acquiring knowledge. It's about transforming the way you think, feel, and interact with the world around you. The skills and insights you've gained throughout this book have the potential to empower you in ways you might not yet fully realize. By integrating emotional intelligence with critical thinking, you've unlocked a powerful new approach to understanding yourself and the world around you. This enhanced self-awareness, combined with your sharpened critical thinking abilities, provides you with a formidable toolkit for navigating life's challenges and opportunities. One of the most immediate benefits you're likely to experience is a greater sense of confidence in your decision-making. Armed with the ability to recognize and regulate your emotions while also applying rigorous analytical thinking, you'll find yourself approaching decisions with a new level of clarity and assurance. This confidence doesn't come from the illusion of certainty, but from the knowledge that you're considering problems from multiple angles and leveraging the full spectrum of your cognitive and emotional capabilities. But the impact of what you've learned extends far beyond your own internal experiences. The skills you've developed have the potential to dramatically improve your relationships with others. The empathy you've cultivated allows for better communication and deeper understanding of those around you. You'll find yourself better able to navigate complex social situations, resolve conflicts, and build stronger, more meaningful connections. By understanding others more deeply, you'll be able to collaborate more effectively, whether in personal or professional contexts. You'll be better equipped to recognize and respond to the emotional needs of others, while also maintaining a clear focus on shared goals and objectives. This combination of emotional intelligence and critical thinking can make you a more effective leader, partner, friend, and colleague. Perhaps most exciting are the new possibilities that have opened up to you. With your integrated thinking skills, you'll be able to tackle complex problems that might have seemed insurmountable before. You'll find yourself approaching challenges with a unique blend of emotional insight and analytical rigor, allowing you to see solutions and opportunities that others might miss. Moreover, you'll be better equipped to navigate the emotional challenges that inevitably arise in life. Rather than being overwhelmed by difficult emotions or interpersonal conflicts, you'll have the tools to approach these situations with clarity, compassion, and wisdom. This doesn't mean you won't face difficulties, but you'll be far better prepared to handle them effectively and grow from the experience. As you continue to practice and refine the concepts you've learned, you'll likely find that integrating emotion and logic becomes increasingly natural and effortless. What once required conscious effort will begin to happen automatically as you build habits of integrated thinking. This doesn't mean you'll stop growing or learning. Quite the opposite. As these skills become second nature, you'll be able to apply them to increasingly complex and nuanced situations, and continually expanding your capabilities. The key to this ongoing growth is a commitment to lifelong learning and development. The journey you've begun doesn't end with the last page of this book. It's a path that can continue to enrich your life for years to come. Consider setting future goals for yourself, areas where you want to further develop your emotional intelligence or critical thinking skills. These might be related to your career, your relationships, or your personal growth. As you apply these skills in your daily life, you'll find opportunities to build healthy habits that reinforce and expand upon what you've learned. This might involve regular reflection on your emotional states, consciously practicing empathy in your interactions with others, or deliberately applying integrated thinking to the decisions you face each day. You may even find yourself in a position to encourage and support others on their own journeys of emotional and cognitive development. As you experience the benefits of integrated thinking in your own life, you'll naturally want to share these insights with those around you. This not only helps others, but also deepens your own understanding and mastery of these concepts. Looking ahead, it's important to remember that the world is constantly changing and new challenges will always arise. But the skills you've developed are adaptable and resilient. They provide you with a framework for approaching new situations with confidence and flexibility. As you encounter novel problems or unfamiliar contexts, your ability to integrate emotional intelligence with critical thinking will allow you to adapt and thrive. The ongoing impact of emotional intelligence in your life cannot be overstated. As you continue to develop and refine these skills, you'll likely find that they touch every aspect of your existence. From your career to your personal relationships, from your internal emotional landscape to your engagement with broader social issues, the ability to think both critically and emotionally will serve as a powerful guide. As we conclude this book, I want to leave you with a final thought, a culmination of everything we've explored together. The true power of integrating emotions and critical thinking lies not just in solving problems or making better decisions, though these are certainly valuable outcomes. The real magic happens when this integrated approach becomes a lens through which you view the world. Imagine approaching each day with a deep understanding of your own emotions and those of others, coupled with the ability to analyze situations clearly and objectively. Picture yourself navigating life's complexities with a balanced blend of heart and mind, able to see nuances and possibilities that others might miss. Envision the impact you could have on your own life, on those around you, and potentially on the wider world when you bring this integrated intelligence to bear on the challenges and opportunities you encounter. This is the ultimate payoff of your journey through this book. It's not just about acquiring a set of skills or techniques. It's about transforming your entire approach to thinking, feeling, and being in the world. It's about unlocking your full potential as a human being, capable of deep emotional understanding and rigorous intellectual analysis. As you close this book and step back into your daily life, carry with you the knowledge that you now possess a powerful toolkit for navigating the complexities of the modern world. You have the ability to approach each situation with both emotional intelligence and critical acumen, to make decisions that are both logically sound and emotionally wise, and to engage with others in ways that are both intellectually stimulating and emotionally fulfilling. This is your superpower, the ability to integrate emotion and reason in a world that often tries to separate them. Use it wisely, develop it continuously, and watch as it transforms not just your own life, but potentially the lives of those around you and the world at large. The journey you've begun here is lifelong, filled with endless possibilities for growth, understanding, and positive impact. However, knowing how to harness emotions for critical thinking is just the first step. To truly excel, you need to bridge the gap between insight and action. There's a crucial element that can elevate your newfound skills to unprecedented heights. Curious about what it might be? The answer lies in mastering practical techniques that turn your emotional intelligence into tangible results. To continue your transformation and unlock the full potential of your integrated thinking abilities, dive into the audiobook From Insight to Action: Practical Critical Thinking Techniques. This essential guide will equip you with the tools to apply your skills in real-world scenarios, maximizing the impact of everything you've learned. Tap the center of the video now to continue your transformation journey.